Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. You're probably wondering what Pixar movies have to do with autism, and the answer is not a whole lot. Who are you gonna be talking to? With the exception of short films like Loop and is it Float? Is that the other one?
Float.
That's kind of indirectly related to special needs, that type of thing.
Yeah, indirectly.
Yeah. Other than that, I would say not a whole lot, but we wanted to try something a little different. This video is a bit of a wild card. Are you just going to be copying me? Is that what you're doing? And if our kids lose interest and walk out and all of a sudden they disappear, you know what's going on. Okay, can you be quiet, please? Can we get the video? Is that okay?
Cutie.
You. We'll see how long this lasts. Okay, so we're going to go through this chronologically. So let me get my phone. All right, you guys. So the first movie is Toy Story, as you know, in their lineup. That was released back in '95. It's a classic, right?
Yeah, it's basically the beginning of greatness, I would say.
Yeah, they started out strong.
Well, what kid doesn't want their toys to come alive? I mean, I remember reading The Little Princess, you know, by the same lady who wrote The Secret Garden, and her dolls came to life, and that was a big thing. And I remember thinking, as a kid, how cool would that be? And to have a movie that makes that a reality, it was really cool. I remember when that came out and what a big deal it was.
Yeah.
And the CG animation also. It's not great by today's standards, but back then that was like as big as like T2's, you know, Terminator and everything.
Yeah,
The T1000, right? Like it was.
It blew me away. Someone's interested in 3D animation and filmmaking. I was blown away when I saw that animation. I'm like, imagine when video games catch up to that level and stuff like that. So, besides the technology, it's a great story. I feel like all the Toy Story movies have to do... We might have to let him go upstairs. Do you want to go play upstairs?
No.
You want to play the Wii U? Okay, will you stop it, right? This is not going to fly. Alright, you guys, so as you can see, we lost Alistair. He's upstairs playing video games. He was just a little too rowdy. You wouldn't have been able to hear us.
The fart was a nice touch.
Yeah, he farted on camera. He wanted to add that little touch. Anyway, getting back to where we were, Toy Story. Great film. I feel like using a kid as a villain is a master touch.
Sid, the toy destroyer.
Yeah.
It's very mean.
Don't you mean the toy wrecker?
Yeah, Sid. Sid, he destroys the
Sid,
toys.
who is a mean kid. He takes our toys and he took his sister's toy and turned it into something cursed.
Okay.
Right. He messed with his sister's toys. So, great villain. I feel like they handled Woody's crisis really well, the one of jealousy. All the Toy Story movies deal with things like jealousy, betrayal, loss, feelings of abandonment, things like that. And this one dealt with jealousy, I think, in a really good way. You know, Buzz's existential crisis about...
Am I a real, you know, space ranger?
Yeah.
Universe protection unit, right?
Yeah, and I think that was kind of a neat allegory to, you know, kind of like being a parent. You know, I think starting out in life, we feel like we have this great career move and we want to be somebody and something special. And sometimes we just end up having a job and being a parent and that's it, and that's okay. So...
I'm a sham.
Yeah.
Look at me, I can't even fly out of the window.
I am Mrs. Nesbitt. So it's a great message to parents too that, yeah, you might not be a space ranger like you thought you were going to be, but it's important because a kid loves you and that's the most important thing is a family and things like that. So I thought it was a great message. On our rating scale, so let me explain our rating scale really quick here. We have
Toy Story's
at the very top, perfection, and then we have sublime. So perfection is like, there's really nothing wrong with the film at all. There's nothing
They
you can
couldn't
nitpick.
improve on it in any way we would notice.
Yeah, like you have to be really nitpicky.
Yeah.
Sublime is just as it sounds. It's a sublime movie. It might have a couple of flaws, but really not that much worth mentioning. Exceptional, just as it sounds. It's better than, I think, 99% of the movies out there.
Better than average. Still
Perfection.
good.
Yep. Very good. Worth it. One-timer. And then we have Don't Bother there. I don't think there's any Pixar movies that are not worth bothering with, you know, or anything like that. I think Cars 2 probably comes a little close.
It's still enjoyable. It's just not as well crafted, I think.
Yeah, so we got to rate this. So where would you put Toy Story?
Well,
What do you guys think?
Where'd you guys put it on this scale?
I think it's a nice show.
No, on the scale that Daddy just
Yeah,
gave.
where would you put it? Would you put it at the very top, perfection?
This is an interesting video.
I think
Please don't quote that.
I think it'll be very good, or I think it'll be worth it, or very good.
Yeah, it's definitely very good. I would say, I don't know if it's perfection, but it's close. I'd say it's a very winning formula.
Maybe exceptional, or maybe exceptional, or sublime, or perfection. Between
It's just
all
like maybe
those.
any one of those.
It's good. Just watch it.
I would say it's sublime. What would you say?
Yeah, Sublime.
Yeah, sublime would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to Toy Stories, they're neck and neck. I mean, everyone has their own favorite Toy Story film. It's not my favorite. We'll get to that. But very, very good. Very rewatchable. And it was the first. It looks a little dated by today's standards, but I still feel like it's a great movie.
Well, and it also didn't suffer from death by committee like a lot of the more recent ones did. Like,
Right.
We talked about Cars 2, where it's like Mater has like this one long running gag the entire movie. And he's a great character.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's like the G.I. Joe action scenes, like over and over, like, there's no room to breathe. Like, you don't appreciate them anymore. It just becomes boring.
Yeah, I feel like Pixar has probably moved past its glory days. If you've ever read Creativity Inc. by Ed Catmull, it talks about their winning formula, how they went about doing things, and Disney was always kind of a part of Pixar, but when they really started to merge and then take over Pixar, I think things changed a little bit for the worse, just my opinion. There's still some good Disney films and things like that. I just don't think they were the same caliber as the Pixar ones. Bug's Life.
Yep.
Seven Samurai, if you guys have ever heard of that. That was the original Japanese film. I think it was made in the 1950s.
Yeah.
And so many movies were based off of the Seven Samurai. Movies like The Goonies and things like that. And A Bug's Life is no different. I feel like they did a good job of putting Seven Samurai into a kid's form. I loved the whole thing with the grasshoppers. They're good villains. And
they had,
they're bad, but they're good at being villains.
Yeah, they sounded like motorcycles. That was cool.
Yeah, that was kind of a fun
Look,
fact.
guys, all I want is some food, alright? Okay.
They wanted food, but they wanted to take food from the ants.
Yeah.
To me, the whole thing felt kind of like how some governments work. How they're very oppressive, and they want to, as they said in that, like maybe one or two ants won't hurt you when he threw the pebble
That's
at
literally
his friend.
Texas portrayed by Bug's Life.
Yeah, they
Very nice, yeah.
overtax the ants.
Yep.
Texas portrayed
But in
by
many
Bug's
numbers, they realized that the ants were a threat, so they had to constantly keep them in line, keep them in check,
With
so
fear.
there wouldn't be with fear, so there wouldn't be an uprising.
Yeah.
So I guess given the current climate today, you might like or dislike that. I liked it personally.
It's always been a thing,
Yeah.
keeping the masses in check with
Oh yeah,
bread
as
and
long as
circuses
history has
and-
been history, right?
Yeah.
There's always been a government to either oppress or, in some cases, help people.
the carrot and the stick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Anyway.
good movie.
Eh.
A great. It's good.
It's not one I would rewatch over and over again.
Yeah. I don't think it's very rewatchable. I think kids' interest kind of comes in and out, and that's another criteria we're rating these films on is how well they hold a child's interest.
Hey, sit down.
I would say Bug's Life is. Would you say very good or worth it?
I'd say it's very good.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'd say
very
very
good.
good or worth it, or
Some
more.
people might like the gags more. I mean, I found some of the like cutesy circus stuff funny. I didn't think the ladybug who was a man was hilarious, but I know some people do. So
As a man, seriously.
it was a man bug, not a ladybug.
Yeah, he got all offended because
Yes.
they kept calling him a ladybug.
Because ladybugs can be boys, and it was a funny riff, but I thought they used it too much personally.
Yeah.
So anyway. Yeah, he thinks that's funny. See, it's also
Yeah,
I didn't
there were
laugh
some
at-
funny
maybe
jokes
I didn't
in
laugh
there.
at the show.
Yep.
They thought the flies
I
and
wish I could laugh
the
hard
poop
so hard
jokes
at
were
that.
funny, right?
I thought the gag reel at the end of the movie that they did in a couple of other Pixar movies was really cute.
Yeah.
Like Toy Story 2 and...
Okay, so very good.
Yeah.
So let's move on now to Toy Story 2.
Okay.
Now this one, I feel, was a little bit more poignant the way it dealt with
Abandonment.
separation and abandonment.
Yeah. Yeah, like Jessie's sad song that Sarah McLachlan sings is just
Oh, yeah, everyone
rips
gets-
out your heart.
Everyone gets weepy at that point where she leaves her
Yeah.
Jessie behind.
And then every girl's like, I abandoned my Barbies.
yeah.
I left them out in the
Yeah.
cold, and there's some doll out there who's PTSD.
Yeah, it makes us
because
feel
of-
terrible about how we treated our toys.
Yeah, exactly.
I felt like this one, for some people, this was their favorite, absolute favorite. And I wouldn't argue with you if you said, one Toy Story was, your favorite versus another.
I thought the villain was a little weak. The fat hobby
the
toy
collector.
store owner,
Yeah, the toy
Al,
collector.
Al's
Yeah.
Toy Barn Al. Yeah, he wasn't like that.
He was
great.
okay.
He was
But he
okay.
wasn't like an amazing villain. I feel like in the third film, we'll talk about the third film in a
Connor, we can't see you. Sit down. It's like dabbing back there.
bit. Yeah.
Sorry, coffee.
Yeah, so there were better villains though.
You're okay, yeah.
Like it was great seeing like Woody's background. I think with the '50s cowboy Americana, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of was a response to like the whole Buzz Lightyear thing, like a kind of nostalgic, I would say.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
Like,
a very
very
nostalgic
nostalgic.
film, very
Yeah.
fun. The villain isn't as good, and I feel like the theme of
Guys.
separation and abandonment. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Am I just sitting here?
We want to hear you guys'
Yeah, what do you
opinions,
think
too.
about Toy Story 2?
Toy Story is pretty good.
Did you like Zurg?
Well,
The
he was
whole
a-
subplot of
The evil Emperor Zurg?
that Buzz
Who's
learns,
Buzz's
and
dad.
spoilers. Of course, this video has spoilers because
Sorry,
we
yeah.
assume you watched all of them, like we did.
No.
Yeah, Buzz finds out that Zurg is his
What
dad.
I'm
That's pretty
saying
funny.
Star
is
Wars nod.
It's acceptable. It's understandable. It's nice.
It's nice.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I would
Okay.
say.
Exceptional.
Would you say Sublime?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you like Toy Story 2? Or...
It's pretty cool.
Okay, where on
It's-
Daddy's rating
Or,
scale?
it's pretty
Okay.
cool. Very
It's
good.
exceptional. It's exceptional.
You'd say exceptional. What
Yeah.
would you say?
I could do pretty
I would
good,
say-
very good, or exceptional or more.
I like it. I would say Sublime, honestly. I did
I'm
like
going to say
it
Sublime too.
a lot more than...
Well,
I would say
put it up a
Sublime,
notch,
too.
okay, Connor? We'll put it
Yeah.
into the Sublime category.
Sit down so we
Alright.
can see you, buddy. He's all like a floating head
It's
over
okay.
here.
Yeah, it might get a little distracting, but that's how we roll.
It is.
Okay, next one. This one holds a special place in my heart because I used to watch it with my niece a lot, and that is Monsters Inc.
Yes.
Monsters
Okay.
Inc. I'm Monsters
that-
Incorporated.
What did you guys think about the original Monsters Inc?
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
It was okay, even though I seen it like 145,406 times.
This is one our boys used to watch all the time.
Yeah,
But now
and
we
I've
have-
seen it a lot.
not-
We
with
have
my niece.
footage of Ian doing the scary feet, scary feet, scary feet, kids awake, kids
Yeah.
asleep, and Ian do the whole
Not as much-
"Arr" and everything.
It's a lot more touching than it lets on. At the
Yeah.
beginning. It becomes very
Okay.
touching
Yes.
when he forms a
Yes.
bond with Boo. When Sully does.
Not as much times as I watched Coco.
Okay, we'll get to
Coco.
Coco. We'll get to
We'll get to
Coco.
We'll get to Coco
I
soon.
think Coco's a Pixar movie.
Monsters Inc. also has an excellent villain, Randall, who's obviously very creepy. At the beginning, you think he's just very competitive, wants to boost his numbers, and in fact, he has a much more sinister plan. So there's layers to that. It's just a really entertaining movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it has like a deeper meaning other than
It's not a very
just-
deep, tear jerking, type Pixar
Well, it's not
formula.
like Inside Out. Or anything,
No, like it's not like a mind screw, like
Yeah.
one of those. But
or
it's
Soul or anything. Yeah.
It's it has more heart than I think most people expected when it first came out, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's very original, very original. I would say, where would you put that one?
Oh,
I don't think it's perfection.
I
But
would
it's-
say between Sublime and Exceptional for me.
Yeah,
You probably like it more because of the whole associations with your niece, but
yeah, but I don't want to factor nostalgia too much into the
I'd
decision.
say Exceptional.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
Okay, would you guys say exceptional?
They all can't be perfect. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that's right. I know we want to put all of them up at the top,
It would
but
be exceptional or Sublime.
yeah, we'll put Monsters Inc. at exceptional.
I'll put Monsters Inc. At Sublime.
Okay.
Very good choice.
All
Okay,
right.
so-
Next one is Finding Nemo. Ooh, this
This
is
is
a good
another one we
Yeah.
watched a lot.
And Brittany loves the ocean.
I do.
All things ocean.
Yep.
So what would you say?
Oh, Finding Nemo is, I don't know. I mean, weren't we talking to a relative one time? They're like, this one sucks. It's all about like a neurotic dad and, trying to find his kid.
I don't know.
It's like-
I think it's a simple story, but it's very well told.
I think so. I think it's kind of like its sequel, Finding Dory. It's all about letting go as a parent,
Yeah.
of like the over attachment and the helicopter parenting worry and everything, and letting your kid experience things, even though Nemo, as we know, has like a little gimpy fin. Sorry, you can't say gimpy. My bad. And
Did you say something
I said
unpolitically
something
correct?
unpolitically or correct. He has
Warning.
a handicapped fin, and he can't swim. as
No, you
fast.
can't say that either.
Sorry, I can't say that either. He has a fin that's not like the other.
Challenged.
He's differently abled.
We're just
And-
messing, guys.
Sorry, I know.
We're not very politically correct
We're
here.
not. So because Nemo has this little fin, his dad's been very protective of him, and as a mom of autistic boys, I think, I mean,
We can all relate to that, like the hover
Every
parent
parent.
versus the parent that just
Yeah.
neglects their child. You
Yeah.
know, there's a balance there, and I think. Are you having fun?
he's giving us a show. What do you guys think about Finding Nemo?
It's nice. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And there's some very memberable scenes in there, like shark bait, ooh ha ha. You know, Mount
The
Wanahakalugi, the dentist scenes. The little girl, she's one of the primary villains in there. A little bratty girl
She
with
has
braces.
no idea she's the villain.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
she doesn't know she's the villain, but that's
I
hilarious.
have no idea why it scared me when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo scared you?
But like with some of these films.
No, the girl scared me. It's a nightmare fuel.
What girl?
Darla.
The a shark
Oh yeah,
girl.
Darla.
Darla.
Just very memorable scenes in there.
I used
Yeah.
to be scared
You know,
of it,
fish are
but I
friends,
realized
not
that-
food.
Oh yeah, the sharks and you
Yeah,
got a lot of
gotta
fun,
love Bruce. You know.
fun characters. It's definitely like an odyssey. Like you're on a journey, and
Yeah.
it's interesting, right? Like
Yeah.
Dory, of course, makes it with. God, I didn't know you could speak whale. You know, like,
It's just so
very
good.
cute.
It's such a good movie. I would say it's
Yeah.
sublime. I don't know if it's perfection, but it's
Sublime.
dang close.
Very rewatchable, obviously, considering we have the whole thing like
I
quotable.
want to watch it right now.
There you go.
Really.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Okay, guys, we are going to spend some time with this next one, The
Okay.
Incredibles.
Oh boy. Okay.
This is probably my favorite Pixar movie.
Oh no.
It's my second favorite.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
It's
Incredibles?
my,
Incredibles
First
is
one?
fun, but I prefer the second one.
it's my
The
fourth.
second
Yeah,
one.
he likes the second one, and that's okay.
It's my fourth favorite.
Fourth
Okay.
favorite? Okay, so, yes. I would say it's perfection.
Well, The Incredibles is one of the only family movies that's genuinely for the whole family. Like everyone enjoys watching it.
Oh, yeah.
From adult to young kid. Like no adults are on their phones, snoozing. I think when you're watching The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Watch
First
this.
time.
If
I'm Dash,
anything-
you can't catch me.
There's a lot of action in it, so it might not be great for like 3 and under, maybe. I know some parents
some
complained
guns.
about about the action being too intense and stuff like
No,
that.
not really fast.
Whatever.
Well,
I
we're not as prudish as some parents are, but
I
We're
realize,
both
some
fans.
parents, it may not be
Okay,
their cup
guys,
of
try to
tea,
stay with us.
but it's a really fun action movie
Dash.
with deeper levels of
yes.
Um,
One of the things I really appreciate.
meaning.
Oh, sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
deeper levels of meaning. I got it out.
Deeper levels of meaning.
Yeah.
One of the things I really loved in it was the allegory, and I know art's very subjective and people interpret movies different ways, but what I felt was in there was the whole wolf, sheepdog, sheep allegory that you hear in the military. And I saw the supers as the sheepdogs, and a lot of times society, being the sheep, misunderstand the sheepdogs, kind of push them to the
Do you want to explain
the
that a little
shadows.
bit?
Yeah, basically, there's wolves out there. There's threats, actual, real threats in the world,
And most people are sheep.
and most people are sheep.
Which is
They'll,
nothing
they'll
wrong
do
with
what they're
that.
told.
Yeah.
You know, that's okay. Help society move along. And then there's the sheepdogs who might seem a little bit eccentric, kind of stick out.
They have sharp teeth. They're a little scary to the sheep.
Yeah, they're a little scary to the sheep because they
Yeah.
have sharp teeth. And what society generally does, especially during peacetime, is they tend to shun the sheepdogs. They don't like them as much. You know,
We
they-
don't need
The
you,
sheep.
right?
yeah, we don't need you
Shun the
anymore.
sheep.
And in the case of the very
Shun
beginning,
the
they get into a lawsuit where Bob Parr
Which
saves
is
a guy.
hilarious. I've never
Yeah.
seen a superhero movie with
My
a lawsuit.
client didn't ask to be saved. He
All
didn't want to
the
be saved.
destruction, like Hancock, the movie Hancock goes into that too, about all the destruction superheroes create.
Right. There's
But,
gonna be collateral damage when you're trying to save the world.
Yeah, and I love the whole they're undercover now, and
Yeah, there's so many things we
Yeah.
could say about the movie. Syndrome, talk about a villain. He is the best. I don't care what you say. He is the best Pixar villain.
yeah, I'd say so.
Maybe one of the best villains of all time.
Yep.
And he's understandable. He's relatable because he basically wants to democratize special,
He wants to
Powers.
help.
Yeah, if everyone's super, no one will be.
Right. And he has a very, shall I say, communistic approach.
Oh my gosh, stop.
And he wanted to
Like,
help.
go in there.
We're talking about Pixar.
I know we're talking about Pixar. I won't get too deep into it, but yeah, he wants.
Ian wants to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just real quick, Ian. I'll get this out. But yeah, he wants everyone to be super. But you can't force that on people. As he tries to do. You can't. There's some people that are exceptional at some things, and some people that are exceptional at others, and that's okay. We don't have to have everyone be a carbon copy of everyone else, and I feel like this show really portrayed that well, that everyone has their own special abilities, and if we don't try to bury them to make society feel better, we can still have a wonderful place where everybody's welcome. You were going to say something, Ian?
So first syndrome was just incredible. Like, all you want to do is to help Mr. Incredible.
That's right.
But you said, fly home, buddy. I work alone.
And that traumatized him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's like, never meet your heroes.
So, and then he was so cranky. He was evil, made those turning machines to destroy everything.
That's right.
He used
Hey,
technology
guys,
as a
I got something
superpower,
to
right?
tell you.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
What about the Pixar movie Soul?
We're going to get to that.
We'll do all the Pixar movies.
Yeah.
Even
So, perfection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say perfection.
Yeah.
There's really no part in that movie that I feel it doesn't belong. You might argue, and this is being extremely nitpicky, that the very intro where they set up the Incredibles with an interview and stuff like that and they're talking is a little bit redundant because you find out, Bob Parr, his motives in the movie, obviously Helen Parr.
That's just, I think, quibbling.
You find out like 2 minutes into the movie that she's a strong female who can take care of herself. And I think at the very beginning, she's like, leaving the saving of the world to the man and woman. Come on, I don't think so.
Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, something like that. And you might argue that scene is a little bit redundant because the rest of the movie fleshes out the characters so well. But even then, I mean, some people really like that intro. I feel like it was probably good in theaters when people were getting in their seats and getting settled down. And
Well, everything from the art style to the voice actors to the way they set up the world, it's very believable. It's fun.
there's no boring scenes in that whole thing,
And
is
all
there?
the superheroes in the family are based on the Fantastic Four, of course, and their powers.
Yeah.
But it's still intensely entertaining because the way they go through it all, and the kids, how they learn that these villains are not like the villains in your Saturday morning cartoons. They will kill you.
Yeah, they will not hesitate.
And just
yeah.
I thought it was really well handled, and it was just fun. Like, everyone enjoys Incredibles, and
Yeah.
it's one of the most rewatchable Pixar movies of all time.
We love it.
Yep.
We love it. Okay, now shifting gears, pun intended,
Come on, Connor.
we're going to talk about Cars.
You want to talk about Cars?
Cars. If you
Yes.
like Cars, that might be the movie for
You
you.
We've
do
seen
like
this
Cars.
movie a lot. and
Another
we-
one the kids
We
like.
actually like it. We almost feel like this one is a little bit neglected in the Pixar lineup, or a little bit kind of pushed down in the list.
Not everyone relates to the whole the feeling of wanting to slow down from the rat race. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, not everyone identifies with that. That's okay.
Yeah, it's not the deepest story.
Yeah.
So what they basically did, and they might own up to this, they might not, but Pixar basically took the movie Doc Hollywood with Michael J. Fox, and then they put a car skin on it, basically. And the whole thing is this doctor comes in from Hollywood, if you haven't seen the movie, and he has a very fast-paced life.
Comes to the South.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cocky, and he looks down on. He goes to the South. He kind of looks down on these Southerners as these kind of inbred hicks. And what he comes to learn is, instead of, like they say in Cars, hillbilly hell, it's actually, these are very warm, friendly people who just have a different pace and a different way of doing things. And if anything, they're, in some cases, a lot better than the people he was used to back home, in the sense of they're more compassionate, they're more caring, they're more willing to work as a community, those types of things.
It's very town mouse, country mouse. You know what I mean? It's the fight between rural and urban living.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I thought it was really well handled. And
Yeah.
it's fun. Like, the whole... Okay, spoiler alert. If you've seen our other videos, we went to California Adventure along with Disneyland, and that Cars Land area was our favorite part.
Oh, they did such a good job with that.
Yeah,
It was
the
a cool
whole
ride.
Radiator Springs and the little ride with the cars.
And a nice waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Like, the whole movie, everything was...
Yeah.
I don't know how they managed to make
I love
anthropomorphic
Hudson
cars,
Hornet,
but they
Hudson.
did.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah.
It's very action-packed. It's very entertaining.
I like Hudson Hornet, Doc Hudson.
So cool,
Hudson Hornet
right?
is awesome.
Yeah, this kid loves cars, and so he
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
And a great message
I
for...
like the vehicle Cars. The movie's cool too. Maybe I should watch on Disney Plus.
Well, we got to rate this one, guys, okay?
Yeah.
So I also feel it's a great message about slowing down, about appreciating life, and not just getting so caught up in work and the rat race that you forget what's really important in life, which is your friends and family and things like that. Obviously, with the pandemic, I think everyone had time to reevaluate their lives and what's really important.
Excuse me, Connor.
All right, guys, where would you put Cars on the list?
Guys, what do you think about the first Cars movie?
I would put it
Let's do the top
Subline
3.
on perfection.
You like it that much, huh?
Let's do
That's
Subline
high.
or dark yellow
I'll put
or
it on
perfection.
exception.
Well, and keep in mind too, little boys really love cars. That's a huge thing too.
I'll put it on Subline.
Okay. I would say it's very good. What would you say?
Oh, exceptional.
Exceptional. So
Well-
we have sublime, exceptional. Wow, this got a lot higher than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking most people are just like, it's worth it, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Like we said, some of these movies will reach out to certain people more because of certain reasons.
Or maybe-
yeah. Everyone's
You
list is
know,
going to be different.
Like, I didn't think Monsters, Inc. was all that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's very
Until I had kids. And until
Yeah, it
you told
changes
me
your
about your
perspective,
niece and
yeah.
how sweet it was cuddling with your own little boo and
Yeah, she
you know,
was like a boo to
everything.
me.
Yeah, and so don't ever underestimate the power of emotions, you know, tying into the whole rating for Pixar movies, right?
All right, so we have sublime, exceptional, very good. So we'll just average it out and put exceptional.
Sure.
Which is surprising to me, but that, you know, we're rating it as a family. Exceptional. Cars exceptional.
Oh, okay.
Bet you weren't expecting that. Next up is Ratatouille.
Okay.
These guys love Ratatouille.
Okay.
Perfect plus 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 plus
So
plus
why?
plus.
Okay, you love it.
It's because of that one clip where he goes. It's
What part is that?
It's that one part where he
The
stuck.
chef, Linguini.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when he
The
tasted
one-
that, really
I think they like it
disgusting
because
soup,
there's gross food in it.
When he smelled it, he went this face.
And there's rats, and it's funny.
They just love it. It's such an endearing film, you know. It's just
Yeah, but it's also about, you know, critics and encouraging new
Instant
creativity.
perfection.
yeah.
Instant perfection.
Yep, and they love it, we love it.
I wouldn't say it's perfection. I would say it's sublime. But here's the thing. I think this movie is for artists. It's a love letter to artists, even to critics. But someone like an accountant or maybe a lawyer who doesn't really feel, and I think everyone has an artistic side, but maybe not as much with some professions. They might not like the film as much as, say, someone who is in music or cooking or illustration or anything like that.
Well, I think it's hilarious that they said it in France, you know, where they're snobby about their fine cuisine.
Yes.
And that's the point. Like, there's this very high exacting level of excellence. And no one expects a rat to be able to cook that well.
Yeah, and
right?
I love that message. It doesn't matter so much
Sorry,
where you come
we'll let
from.
You talk. 1 sec.
Excuse
I
me
got
for-
something to
What?
say.
Okay.
I wonder how much comments are going to be on this video.
There'll probably be a lot of comments. A lot of people love Pixar movies.
There'll probably be like
If we can get through it.
30K.
Okay. So where are we going to put Ratatouille? Great.
All
Great
right,
film.
guys. Ian, what do you think on the scale where Ratatouille should go?
I think it's pretty good.
Or maybe
Whoa, that's not as high as I thought.
I don't know.
Okay, so Connor was like perfection.
Perfection.
I say sublime. What would you say?
Perfection all the way to the top. Out of the phone and in straight
I'd
into
say it's
space.
exceptional. We've seen it many times.
Okay.
I still.
So we have those three. So put it in between those. Sublime. Let's go with sublime.
Sure.
Okay.
Perfection.
Okay, sublime.
The people have spoken.
He's like perfection.
I know.
Perfection all the
Okay,
way
mommy
out.
says that one. I say that one. So we're gonna take the average and we'll put it in sublime.
Can you make a higher chart?
Hold on, we're gonna get through all the movies.
He
Okay.
says he thinks Ratatouille is better than perfection.
It's so cute.
Ooh, okay, this one's going to be a little controversial, at least the way I feel about it. Wall-E. Okay, I feel like this is three movies in one. One is a romance, that's obvious, between Wall-E and Eva. It's also kind of a space epic,
Yeah.
you know, where you have those wide shots, like very grandiose shots, you know, out in space.
Fat people sipping their drinks.
It's also,
Space.
what genre would you put this in?
Post-apocalyptic romance.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic, kind of a warning to humanity
Yeah.
about excess and pollution and gluttony and all those
Relying
things.
upon technology.
Yeah, it's kind of
too.
three films rolled
Yeah.
into one.
Yeah.
And I love the characters. Wall-E has more emotion and feeling than most
Yeah.
animated characters throughout all animated films.
Than many, I think, live person acting.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, and I love the beginning. I feel this way about Up. We'll get to that. But I love the beginning. But I feel like the rest of the movie, in some points, kind of meanders a little bit and could have been
yeah.
tightened up a little. You know, the overall message. Mm-hmm. And I know some people are going to hate me online for saying that because a lot of people, Wall-E is their favorite. And I'm not going to argue with you. If that's your favorite, that's your favorite. And that's very subjective.
Well, and also they have a lot of like as far as the conflicts and the opponents go, like the bad guy is a lot of things. It's the ship's, online system. What do they call them again?
Yeah, the steering wheel.
Yeah,
the ship's AI, basically.
The AI was the bad guy, kind of like
but not a very
Space
good villain.
Odyssey. It wasn't the big one.
Yeah.
And I feel like the whole fact that all of humanity's in space, I mean, there was a lot of conflicts. It was like man against nature, man against robot, man against man. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it dealt with a lot.
It had a lot.
It had a lot going on, and
Yeah.
I feel like they could have just tightened it up a little bit, because there was a lot of ideas in there, and some of them stuck really well, some of them didn't.
Yeah, and there was the point that Wall-E was more, he had more human feeling than a typical robot too, right?
Yeah, and
Like
he had more
somehow-
feeling than the humans on board the ship.
Yeah, somehow he had evolved, from this lonely existence of crunching up trash to watching guys and dolls, and dancing and collecting things. Like, he was very human for a robot.
Yeah.
And
cared more about humanity than the humans did.
Yeah, it was an interesting movie. I think it's very good or worth it. I don't know if I think
I'd say it's more than worth it.
amazing.
I would say it's at least very good.
At least very good. Yeah.
I would say exceptional. I don't know if it's maybe sublime. I personally don't feel like it's perfection. I know some of you would disagree with that, but
Well, that's the thing, right? Like,
I think exceptional. What do you guys think about Wall-E?
I think it's pretty cool. I like to watch it sometime.
see the power of suggestion? Who wants to watch it?
It's sublime.
It's sublime.
Sublime. Okay, very good. Exceptional, sublime. So we'll put that right in the middle as well.
Exceptional.
Okay, moving along. Let's go on to Up.
Ooh,
right.
move.
I will just say what most people think about this movie when they talk about it. They're talking about the first 10 minutes of this film.
Yeah.
And if this movie were just a short film, it would probably be one of the best short films ever, animated or otherwise. It has a really, really strong intro.
But
Very
it's really
emotionally
sad.
packed.
If you just had the first 10 minutes, it would be a really sad ending.
Yeah, it would
You have
be.
to
It would be
admit.
a sad ending.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the setup.
it's the setup. It's the hook. It's so expertly crafted as far as visual storytelling goes.
Yeah, it's never meet your heroes, because obviously the explorer guy.
Well, we'll get to that though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like after the intro, it's like then you got to tell the rest of the movie. So is the rest of the movie as good as people remember the intro being?
No, the rest of the movie's just okay.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, it's great. It's still Pixar, right? It's head above shoulders and say like Blue Sky or
Sure.
DreamWorks or others like that.
Well, it's better
But-
than like the Ice Ages.
Much
don't
better
hurt
than
me.
the Ice
But
Age
yeah,
movies.
Like, a lot of people love them, but
But it kind of meanders a little bit too when they travel.
ahead.
I don't care about the bird. Is that mean? I just don't care.
Yeah, what is the bird?
No,
Mark?
Steve or whatever.
We don't even remember the birds. There's a lot of
Yeah,
characters
they
to
named the
remember
bird
here.
Steve. Doug the dog is hilarious.
Yeah, I
Saves the
feel
movie.
so. There's a short series on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's called like Doug Days,
Yeah, Doug Days.
and we feel like those little shorts with the dog are better than
the
a
rest
lot of the
movie.
movie. A lot of the movie Up. And again, we're not dogging. Sorry, pun not intended. We're not trying to say Up is a bad movie by any means. It's not. It's a great film, but it just kind of meanders a little bit. You don't really meet the villain until like I think the last half or third of the film. I mean, in earnest, there's a little intro of him in the beginning, and then you meet him again kind of towards the end of the film. And the dog's flying planes and stuff like that. It's entertaining. It's just not as strong as some of the other Pixar films. I know some of you guys will disagree, but
If you're going from the point of the movie being
Do you think?
that his life's not over, even though his wife died,
yeah,
it's
Carl,
very
yeah.
sweet. That the main character finds more reasons to live, more people to interact with, dogs like Doug. I love you.
Yeah, he has
And,
adventures to keep going, to keep
yeah,
living.
like his wife told him, make your own new adventure in that little book she
Yeah.
gave him, right? And that makes it sweet and worth watching. But when everyone talks about this movie, it is the first 10 minutes. Let's be real.
Yeah,
here.
usually, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really cool the visual way to tell the story of him carrying emotional baggage is the actual house that him and Ellie pretty much grew up in.
Yeah, it's like Ellie is the house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the whole analogy. And
Yeah.
it at the beginning of the movie, it lifts him up. He has all these happy memories of Ellie,
Yep.
and it gets him to where he wants to go. But eventually, the house kind of literally holds him back.
It does, yes.
So it's a great analogy for life. When we've had a traumatic event, like yes, it's good to remember it. It's good to remember those sweet times, but it's also important to keep living.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
I would say I would rank up as exceptional.
Exceptional.
Not bad.
I would rank it as pretty good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Moving on the list. I hope you guys are still with us, eating your popcorn, because this is one of my favorite.
Oh, yeah. You do
I
love
love
this
this
dang.
one. This is my Toy Story 3. My favorite Toy Story, okay? And they all deal, like we mentioned, with rejection, with separation, with jealousy. I feel like this one deals with abandonment. I
It does.
think the most.
Is it
Because
about?
go ahead.
Wait, isn't it about Toy Story 5?
Toy Story 3 is the one with Lotso Hugging Bear.
And where Andy goes to college.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait,
That
there's
one.
no Toy Story 5.
And as they're telling the story with the toys, it's parallel to what's happening with Andy's life, leaving for college and the mom saying goodbye.
It's all about transitions.
Yeah, I remember when I showed this to my sister for the first time, and I'm like, even critics were crying at the end of the movie, and she's like, I don't see what the big deal is. Like, even when and again, spoiler alert, we're assuming you've seen these movies, as the toys are being lowered into the dumpster fire, literal dumpster fire, she's just like, yeah, it's sad, but they're toys, and stuff like that. It wasn't until it went to Andy's room when everything was packed up and the mom says goodbye that it clicked for her, and she realized this wasn't so much a story about toys.
It's about
obviously.
relationships.
Yeah, it's about relationships.
And how
saying,
relationships change over time.
yeah, things change over time, and not because of anything sinister necessarily, but sometimes accidents happen. Like in the case of Lotso Hugging Bear,
Well, and you look
that
at
was just an accident.
But the way he deals with it, right?
Yeah,
Because
how do
he
you deal
views
with it?
People, aka toys, are replaceable, made to be thrown away, like at Sunnyside Daycare.
Yeah, he has a very bitter view on life.
Very bitter, yeah.
Yeah.
And many people view relationships that way too, right? But Woody and Buzz and his, crew
Yeah.
are all about, making the best relationships, thinking fondly to past times, being healthy
Mm-hmm.
in your non-codependent relationships.
Yeah, it was also interesting too
Ian has a
seeing.
problem too.
Okay, we'll get to Ian. Woody has an interesting kind of arc too, where he's always been so loyal to Andy
Yep.
as a friend, and then even he eventually realizes in the film that he's kind of holding on to something that isn't going to work out, and it's time for him to move on and help other people. And even though everyone else is on board with the movement, and in some cases that gets them into trouble, right? Because they go to Sunnyside Daycare and
Yeah, but in the end they end up with Bonnie,
There's
this cute
villains
little
there.
girl, and they get played with again. And so
Right.
the cycle starts over. I actually did see a really funny cartoon about this where, Andy says to Woody and Buzz, I'm never going to let you go. And it shows him in a coffin with Andy and Buzz freaking out.
yeah, they're in the coffin with him.
Yeah, like what would happen if you didn't, let go of your bad,
Yeah, sometimes you gotta move on from relationship stuff.
Yeah.
Out of all of the Toy Story films, I felt like this hit the hardest emotional notes in a good way. They're
it was-
all exceptional films.
And
all
it was entertaining because it was like a prison break movie. It was a...
yeah, it was a prison
what?
break movie,
It
which
was-
is hilarious. It was like Shawshank Redemption with toys.
And it was romantic because of Buzz and Jesse, and, it was fun.
Yep, the Spanish mode, Buzz's
Oh my
Spanish
gosh.
mode, that's hilarious.
Buzz's Spanish mode is hilarious. Yeah, Carol.
Yeah, you wanted to say something, Ian?
Yeah, Ian, what did you want to say about Toy Story 3?
Oh. What was it?
Sorry,
What was I gonna
I'm
say?
talking too much.
So,
Yeah, excellent villain, by the way, Lotso Hugging Bear. The next one, this is probably
Wait,
the
we
one.
didn't rate Toy Story 3.
Oh, we didn't rank it. You're right.
It's probably obviously perfection.
Perfection. Perfection?
yeah.
Perfection.
Yeah, yeah.
We go with perfection.
I would say Sublime.
What are you?
There you
Hey.
go.
Look, good. He just has to be the devil's advocate.
Actually, I'll think it's just exceptional.
All
Okay.
right. Okay.
Moving on to probably the worst one on this list. We won't spend a lot of time here. Is Cars 2.
Oh man.
Entertaining by most movie standards. I would say if this was a DreamWorks film, most people would say, yeah, it's a pretty good movie, you know?
I thought it was fun. I mean, they went to different places in the world where there's a lot of cool cars.
It was James
Japan,
Bond with
Italy,
cars,
and-
right?
Yeah, James Bond with cars.
Mixed with a little bit of Pink Panther with Peter
Way
Sellers.
What are you gonna do about Lamborghini?
Mater.
My Lamborghini.
Yeah, a little bit of Mater goes a long way. So this is something I want to say about Pixar movies in general when it comes to sequels, is Pixar's usual formula is the buddy system, right? So you have Marlin and Dory, you have Sully and Mike.
And this Lightning McQueen and Mater, except
Lightning McQueen and Mater.
And this one, Mater kind of took over the movie. And
Yeah.
not for the better.
So, I really don't know how I feel about Pixar's formula of taking the main character and kind of pushing them to the back seat so the side character can take the limelight.
Been pretty successful. I mean, look at Maleficent and some of the other movies they've done.
I'm just talking Pixar.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a successful thing if you want to keep going with a franchise that has a lot of fan base.
Yeah, you can
You
you
know?
can pull more out of the side characters. I think the main thing is it just doesn't work as well as the first film.
It doesn't, but there's a lot of reasons for that. Yeah.
Toy Story bucked the trend because they kept Woody as the main character throughout all 4 films.
I just think it lost a lot of the heart because it wasn't about a fast racer slowing down to enjoy life. It was about Mater getting to be James Bond, doing a lot of stupid crap. And
Yeah, it was just a bunch of antics.
It was and the weird like gas thing where they did like eco fuel or whatever.
Oh yeah,
It was a very forgettable plot.
Yeah, it had a little bit of modern politics interjected into it.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, regardless of how you feel, I feel like we do need to take care of the planet.
And I think they're
And there's a
losing interest.
silly car wash. And
But
there's
a lot of
silly car
times,
wash.
people don't really want to be preached to, especially when they're seeing something like Pixar movies where it's a little bit more escapist. There's some common core I want to say like the human condition themes that most people can relate to.
I'd have to rewatch it to see if that's really what it's about because wasn't it also about
I mean, that was just part of it. It wasn't a huge part.
Yeah, it was about lemon cars too or something, right? Anyway.
And even movies like Up, where like I agree that we do need to take better care of our planet, and I agree that we are as a society becoming gluttonous and excessive and things like that. Do people want to go to the theater to sit down and be preached to? There's kind of a fine line there.
If
I
I'm
think.
watching a documentary, sure.
Yeah,
But
if you're watching
I'm
a documentary.
I don't know. Like, I think someone said it great when there's like, make a war movie, but don't show the war in it. Like Mulan, for instance, right? Like, it's a war movie, but you don't really see like a whole lot of fighting or, that's not the main focus. The main focus is Mulan and the relationship with her father.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Cars 2 dropped the mark because it's a story about cars, a story about eco-fuel, it's a story about Mater trying to find his place, and it all
it's
just,
a lot of things.
it kind of fizzles. The puzzle pieces don't really fit together.
Yeah, I feel like Pixar's at its best when it focuses on the human condition.
Well, yeah, and something that really makes us care instead of just kind of a gag fest.
Right.
So anyway, so that one is, I think, worth watching.
Yeah, I'd
But
just say worth it.
It's worth watching like once. And
Or
if
one
you-
timer. That's one of our lists.
If you have
One timer.
kids that really love Mater, you might watch it more than once.
We say one timer?
Yeah.
I'll do a one timer.
One timer for Cars 2.
I don't even know if they remember Cars.
I think
2
that's our
much.
lowest right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything that's not worth it. It's like at the bottom of our list. But
Yeah, I could live without A Bug's Life, but I still think it's worth watching. You know what I mean?
No, wait.
Some of them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Okay, we got to keep moving,
Okay.
guys. We got to keep moving.
I'm gonna break Bug's Life.
No, we already did Bug's Life.
Oh, right.
So we're moving on to Brave.
Ooh.
Here is a
no.
movie I feel like doesn't get enough credit. A lot of people oversimplify it and say it's the Little Mermaid on land.
What?
And I do not feel
Is
that
that
way.
the red hair? Or is that?
Yeah, they
why
just
are
like,
talking about that?
Merida has red hair, Ariel has red hair.
Oh, because the whole Triton mother duality, I guess.
Kind of. But
I-
here's the thing. I feel like it's different. I feel like, I'm just going to be honest. I feel like in the Disney version of The Little Mermaid, Ariel is a spoiled brat. She risks the kingdom and everything else for a crush. For a guy she just met. When you really think about it, right? She is a spoiled brat. Merida, on the other hand, is just like, I want my freedom. And no one's hearing me out. No one's listening to my wants or wishes.
But according to like that culture of medieval Scotland, she would be causing war between the clans. So really, it is kind of
Yeah,
like
there is
the
that
whole Little
balance,
Mermaid thing,
and there is
yeah.
the mom who's like, "Hey, we're just trying to give you the best life possible. We're not your enemy."
Yeah, I feel like the movie it's about agency, and it's about the mother-daughter relationship,
Yeah,
right? And it's beautiful. I love the music. I love the setting. It's
Mm-hmm.
really fun. My family is Scottish, so obviously we think the Scottish games and all the Scottish jokes are hilarious. And yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
yeah. The kids, the boys, they love the fight scenes in Brave.
Of course they do.
Anything where there's
Can
violence.
I read it? Can I read it?
Yeah, what do you think
Okay,
about
what do you think
Brave?
about Brave?
Remember the bear scene?
The bears are so cute,
Yes, we love the little
I'm gonna have
bears.
to say sorry, but it's a don't bother.
What?
Just
Doesn't
kidding.
like it, I guess.
Oh, are you kidding or?
It's a one-timer.
Okay.
So one timer for.
Slightly good. I don't really like it. I'm not really interested to watch it.
So Connor doesn't really like it all that much, and that's okay. What would you
That's
say?
right. Oh, I think it's sublime.
You think it's sublime?
I think it's you know.
Okay, bye everyone.
For me
I'm gonna
too.
go
Oh, are
upstairs.
you gonna leave?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we love you.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Okay.
Bye. 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 Bye.
All right, love you, Connor. Yeah, we said they might.
I think it's
Who's
amazing.
that?
I love the
I'm
music. I love
losing
the art style, the
interest.
setting,
Well, maybe
everything
we'll
from
get to Luca.
the details,
Guys,
like the way
we're getting to Luca.
We're gonna get to
Not
Luca.
yet.
Ian, hang out. Sit right in the middle if you want to stay here.
the
for
way
this.
the queen as a bear puts her crown on and walks around like she's still the queen. They put so much attention to detail in this movie, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's a very underrated film.
I think so.
I would
Yeah.
say it's very good.
I like the silliness. And
Brittany
the
says
bagpipes.
sublime.
But I love that whole time period and everything too. I think
So-
it's really cool.
Connor says one timer.
I like
Yeah.
the silliness
So
and the bagpipes.
what would you say, Ian? Where would you put Brave?
It's very good or exceptional or maybe more.
Okay, so you put it right around here.
Yeah.
So
Also, one of the few Pixar movies that has
I like
two
the
parents.
silliness and the bagpipes.
Yeah.
Now, guys, Dad
Imagine
hates
that, having two
bagpipes.
parents.
Animation's expensive. I mean, I get it. It's easier to kill off a parent
Yeah,
than some
but I
sad
feel like
accident.
I mean, like
It's a very overused
Toy
Disney
Story
trope.
3, you have so many characters in that.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, if there's a fault with Toy Story 3, which I wouldn't really call a fault, it's that it gets very crowded. There's a lot of characters in there.
They add a lot more, like the other toys from the daycare. Are
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
to
it
keep
can be a
track
little
of.
bit crowded, but
But Barbie and Ken, we didn't even talk about Ken.
Ken's awesome, man. He's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, with Brave, would you say, can we put it exceptional? Because Connor put it at
Sure.
one timer, I put it right here.
Yeah, I guess so.
We'll put it exceptional.
Yeah, it's
That's-
exceptional.
Which a lot of people would say is very high for this movie, but
I know, it's not everyone's cup of tea.
yeah, I think it's very entertaining. Okay, next.
Oh, it's monsters.
Here's Monsters University. I feel like this is a movie that knows what it is and it's unapologetic about it. And it's not setting out to be the next tearjerker, bring your box of tissues and your grandma and you're holding hands and like, let's watch a Pixar movie.
I think it's meaningful to people who had a dream of doing a certain profession and then realized they're totally unsuited to it. Like poor
Like
Mike.
American Idol.
Yeah.
Like all the people who think they're
Mike
rock
Wazowski
stars.
wants to be a scarer so bad, and he's so bad at it
Yeah.
that, when he meets up with Sully, they develop a friendship over finding their strengths. And I think that's what this
Yeah,
is
know your
about.
strengths and your weaknesses.
Know your strengths and,
Now-
be friends and, yeah.
It's not a super deep story, but I don't think they set out to do that.
It's more Monsters universe, and I love that,
Yeah, it's just fun.
It's what it
Just
would be
a
like
fun
for
movie.
monsters to go to university college or whatever.
Yeah, what would you say,
That's so
Ian?
funny.
What did you want to say?
So, if you guys can know that Monsters, believe it or not, Monsters University was before what happened at the 2001 Pixar movie Monsters Inc.
It's a prequel,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is a prequel
It's
to
a
Monsters Inc. Very
which
good.
is fun.
Okay, here's where we're going to rate this one.
I think it's exceptional.
Really, that good?
Well,
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 I probably this is the problem. We keep talking about the things we like about it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that was really great.
It's just not the deepest film.
No,
It's not.
okay, it's probably very good. It's not something I'd rewatch over and over and buy a Blu-ray of, but it's very good.
Yeah, I would say worth it to very good.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I'll say worth it, very good, or
Okay.
exceptional.
Thanks
We'll
for
give it the
saying this,
benefit
bud.
of the doubt and say very good.
Yeah.
For some of you, it might just be a one-timer, and that's understandable, but we've seen it a couple times. It's fun. Let's go on to Inside Out. Wow. What a movie.
This is one of the ones I really liked a lot that came out recently.
Yeah, very powerful. Just it's so original.
Yeah.
Just so original.
What would happen if what wasn't that joke that, Pixar, what if toys had feelings? What if, cars had feelings? What if fish had feelings? What if feelings had feelings? And
Yeah.
this is when feelings have feelings, and it's hilarious and sweet and
what if feelings
meaningful.
control people of their actions
Yeah.
and stuff?
If there's
Exactly.
one thing missing from this movie, for me, I wish they had a logic side to how the brain works and things like that, because it was all just basically emotional intelligence. And you could argue that at that point it gets a little too complex because it was already kind of complex to begin with the different islands and...
They established the feelings themselves of having logic and emotion.
Yes.
And so...
Oh my gosh, I want
that
to
was
play
a bit of
Mario
a
Kart
jumping the
Aliens
shark.
TV.
Okay, Ian, will you help him out real quick?
I want Mario Kart.
On the Wii.
On your TV.
Yeah.
Will you help him, please?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Wow, we lost all our kids. There's just going to be a bunch of headspace now.
This is going to be a long movie or video.
No, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
We just got a few more.
A few more.
A few more, guys.
Yeah.
Stick with us. Don't leave. Please don't leave. All right. So Inside Out, such a good movie. I think we can all relate to, at least most people, to the kid Riley when she leaves her home, Minnesota, a place she just came to love growing up there. I felt that way when I grew up in Southern California. We lived in such a nice place up in the mountains, in the San Bernardino Mountains. And there was a forest there. There was 4 seasons. You could drive to the beach a couple hours away. There's just a lot of childhood memories there. Now I think California is a lot different.
Well, I think the point of Inside Out is you can't be happy all the time. And Joy wants Riley to be happy all the time.
Yeah, Joy wants to take over.
It's about Joy understanding that happiness, has to have sadness sometimes. For it to be
you have
happy.
to have an opposition and things.
Yeah, you have to have all the feelings to make life meaningful and worth living. And I love that when Riley thinks about running away, when anger's in control, she becomes dead to feeling, like numb. Like there becomes a point where
everything shuts down.
The emotions can't influence her anymore, and she is dead to the world. And I thought that was very poignant.
Yeah, I dealt with some very teenager adult themes that Pixar, I think up to that point, really didn't explore.
But they did it in such a way that even kids will understand. You know? Like the imaginary friends. I love the creepy clown and the nightmare parts of your brain, and the dream with being a movie theater. Right? Where your brain comes up with weird dreams from whatever you think about a lot.
Man, so many good parts in that.
I know, the Imagination Land, I would die for Riley.
What's the name of... Yeah, I would die for Riley. What's the name of the imaginary character again?
Oh, Bing Bong.
Yeah, Bing Bong.
Gosh, so obnoxious. But yeah, the kids
I think
love
it's obnoxious, but a lot of people get
they
weepy
think
when
it's so
Bing Bong
funny.
Is no more.
When he fades away to memory dust or whatever it is.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a great movie about understanding our own emotions, how to deal with emotions, and realizing that in our society, so much we try to force out negativity and things that make us uncomfortable, and that's not always a good thing. Sometimes we do need to deal with the things that are sad or tragic in order to get to the sweet moments, and then have those mixed emotions.
The core memories have mixed feelings, and that's a very mature and adult thing to feel, right?
Yep. I would say one of the most original movies of all time.
Definitely.
Great if you're a psychologist. You love it.
I'm sure you can unpack that for years, but yeah, it was fun.
I would say
sublime.
I would say, sublime.
Sublime.
I don't know if it's perfection. Little kids, I think, might get lost in the meanings. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's fun parts for them too.
Maybe.
I would say it borders on perfection. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the end credit sequence is one of the best too, where like it shows the cat, it shows the bus driver, and all of his emotions are anger, and he's just like stuck in traffic.
Yeah, it's cute, right? Like showing what is the predominant emotion, pushing you along.
Yeah.
Anyway, beautiful, so creative.
Inside Out is so good.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it.
Definitely worth it.
Okay, moving on, and I wish Alistair were here for this one, but, attention spans being what they are.
It's about the good dinosaur, and we even threw him a good dinosaur birthday party one year.
Yeah, he had the golden book.
Yeah, he had the t-shirts, he had, like Arlo stuffed and Spot
Yeah, we have
stuff.
an Arlo. He has a broken neck now, sadly, but he's still with us.
But the point is, they love this one. It's funny, because when I saw the trailer for this, I thought this looked weird.
Yeah, a lot of people had weird vibes from this because they saw these really cartoony dinosaurs on realistic backgrounds.
It was very jarring. It was like a kid scribbled on a beautiful painting.
Yeah.
But then when I watched it, it was like a Western. It was really fun.
It's a Western with dinosaurs.
Cowboy T-Rexes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works. If you give it a chance, it works. Mm-hmm. Is it the best Pixar movie? No.
Yeah.
But
it's about being unafraid, having bravery.
Yes. And I love this message, especially for today's kids where we coddle kids so much. And like, oh, my kid's such a special little snowflake. We got to protect all of their feelings, all their emotions. And they never risk anything. They never get a scraped knee. Everything has foam corners on it, This movie, I feel like, is really good for kids to learn. Like, you got to go out and explore. And yes, things might even get dangerous, but that's real life.
Hi, Ian.
Hi.
Hi.
Talking
talking
about the Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, Good Dinosaur. So, yeah, very good message about fear doesn't go away. You just have to work through it. And
Loss.
it's healthy. Yeah, loss.
Friendship.
Dealing with loss.
Fear.
Also, it's kind of an interesting
Ian just
message.
quoted the T-Rex there. Did you hear that?
Can't escape from fear.
Yeah, the Sam Elliott, his best Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. I drowned that gator in my own blood.
Yeah. Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink.
We like the T-Rex.
Dang.
Yeah, played by Sam Elliott, which is perfect casting for that character.
Don't
Great.
overthink it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you give Good Dinosaur?
Exceptional.
Exceptional. What would you give Good Dinosaur?
Very good.
Again, I have nostalgic feelings about this one because our youngest loved
Oh,
this
Alistair.
one.
Oh, wow. Let's watch Good Dinosaur. Let's go.
Much.
Little boys generally like dinosaurs. I like dinosaurs.
Traveling, westerns.
I like
mean,
dinosaurs since I was a
yeah,
kid.
everything.
Yeah, we are actually close by in Utah County to one of the largest dinosaur museums out there, the Museum of
Has
Ancient Life.
the most constructed skeletons of dinosaurs.
Largest
not the real.
assembled skeletons.
Yeah, not like real skeletons, but the artificial ones.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, it's big.
it's big.
So yeah, we have two very goods and an exceptional. We'll put it at very good.
Yeah.
It's a very good movie. Definitely worth a watch.
Better than I thought it was going to be, like I said.
Yeah, it's not going to be for everyone, but I think it's great.
Plus, we have boys. Keep in mind, some of these are, like, obviously they don't think Brave is as cool
Yeah.
as I think, but yeah.
Okay, so moving on to Finding Dory.
Okay, yeah, this one's kind of interesting.
This one's interesting. This one hit a little bit close to home to us because of the whole special needs thing. It was a little
Yeah.
bit hard to watch at times.
It was hard to watch, like the mother and father of Dory freaking out about where she's wandered off to, and is she going to be okay when she's old? I'm like, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, we've definitely experienced that as parents with kids on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Just
it's
what's going
kinda-
to happen to our kid? Or are they going to
Well, apparently
survive?
they're going to get lost in the ocean. That's what's
Yeah,
going to
they're
happen.
going to get lost. And our kids have gotten lost. You know,
Yeah.
we've, fortunately, not permanently.
Yep.
So there were some scenes that were hard to watch, not in a bad way, but just in a very, like, it's hard to get through this because our emotions are very closely linked to that of the films. I do wonder how audiences with just neurotypical who maybe don't have that frame of reference
They might find it
to
a little
special
more
needs.
boring, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little daunting that she
or-
keeps forgetting things over and over and over again.
Maybe. I don't know. We can only speak from our own experiences.
Yeah.
Ian, you had a comment?
So, when I was on my California vacation at Nice Farm, I thought I was lost, but it turns out my mom and dad were just at the bathroom.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a scary feeling being lost.
It is scary.
And
Yeah, cause I'm not mature and responsible enough and independent enough to take care of myself.
We got you.
could
We
shower
knew where
every
you
day,
were.
but I can't
we knew
shower.
where you were, right?
And you're getting there. We're giving you more freedom every year. You know,
Yeah.
you get to do new things.
Then
Okay, let's focus on this, okay? We got to the video. So, very good movie, definitely. The octopus is awesome. I think his name's Hank.
Yeah, didn't they get some awards for animating that octopus?
I think so. They deserve it. There's some incredible animation
The
in
cute
that movie.
sea otters.
The
It's
sea
very-
otters, yeah.
I'm Sigourney Weaver. Welcome to the Ocean Discovery Center or whatever.
I wouldn't say it's sublime.
They're cute, huh?
I would
Yeah,
say
such beautiful
exceptional.
creatures.
What would you say?
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
What would you say, Ian, about Finding Dory?
I used to thought it was non-interesting most of my life.
So would you say one timer worth it?
I guess I'll do worth it or pretty good.
So let's just go with very
Very
good.
good. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, it's not one I would watch over and over again. Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cars 3, we can go through this one really quick. It's a little bit better than Cars 2.
I don't remember it that I was
Well,
with
then our kids
Alistair.
lost interest too.
I had to take Alistair in and out when we saw that in the
Yeah,
theater.
we went to the
first
theater to
time,
see it.
and I saw like half of it.
There's some fun scenes in there. There's like the demolition derby and stuff like that.
So it's basically about Lightning McQueen training up a new racer, right?
Right, it's the whole
Passing
thing.
the reins.
Yeah, passing the reins onto new blood. What are you doing back there, buddy?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna ram you.
Is that part of because
Okay, have a
Lightning
seat, buddy.
McQueen does Demolition Derby, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and-
so Ian loves the Demolition Derby scene.
Yeah, they do a
It's
fun
silly
mud
and crazy.
running scene.
Yes.
with all the
Little
cars.
boys are
They
gonna like
basically,
this movie.
they
Generally.
basically beat up each other.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
get
all
back
about
on
that.
track. Let's get back on track. So, Cars 3, it's about passing the reins on to the new blood, which is a message I feel like
Sorry.
some people will relate to, some people won't. It's not a very deep movie at all. And ultimately, it's one of Pixar's, dare I say, most forgettable films.
Maybe, like I said, for us, it's not one we rewatch a lot.
Yeah, I would say one-timer
Yeah.
to worth it.
Yeah, worth one-timer.
Yeah, one-timer.
For me, I haven't seen it, honestly, in its entirety, so
Yeah,
I
you've
can't
seen
really
bits and
say.
pieces of it. Oh,
No.
what would you say, Ian? Cars 3?
You know, it'd be fun to watch again. So I would say very good or exceptional. I like
Okay.
Cars. I'm a pretty good fan
He
of
likes
Cars.
the Cars universe, so
Okay,
he's into
that
it.
that might move it up to the worth it category.
I
So,
think worth it.
well, we'll put it at worth it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Brittany's favorite, Coco.
Coco.
Yes.
Coco.
Makes me cry.
Okay, I will tell you this: if
Coco!
okay, hold on,
Okay.
let's
Sorry.
quiet down.
Sorry, I disturbed.
If at the end of the movie you don't at least get a little weepy, you might want to check
Something
your
wrong
pulse.
with you,
Yeah,
right?
check your pulse. You might be
Yeah.
dead.
So sweet. The music, the colors, the family, just
The family was-
vibe, you know?
It's
Just-
amazing. It's a remarkable film.
Like, I'm tearing up just thinking about it.
Yeah. So I've never ever cried at a Pixar movie. Came close with Toy Story 3.
Yeah, you came close there.
Yeah.
But
Coco, the end where they sing "Remember Me"
yes.
as a family unit.
Remember
Like I had
me.
tears in my eyes. That was just.
Do
It's so
I
powerful.
Just say goodbye. Remember.
See, he
me.
remembers
We're
the
having a little
song.
solo here.
Each time I. You
We're gonna switch the
hear
battery
a
out and we're gonna
second
continue. So hold on.
It's beautiful, huh?
All right. So, sorry, I had to replace the battery. Coco. It also does a really good job with representing Mexican culture. Like I said, I grew up in Southern California. When I was little, up until I was about 5, I was in Azusa and Covina. And it felt like every other weekend we're in our neighbor's backyard, just smacking a piñata, having a lot of fun.
It wasn't about Mexican culture, though, per se, as much as it was about the importance of family relationships.
Yeah, very much about family. And that's part of the thing I love about Mexican culture. As Latter-day Saints, we love family. We love family culture. We love genealogy. And this dealt a lot with genealogy.
And we believe that, you know, family endures beyond death, right?
Right.
That family ties exist even in heaven. And so, well, teary, you know, thinking about, you know, the whole very weird Disneyland-ish entrance and exit into their
Well-
afterlife. But beyond that, like the whole remembering your ancestors and having your little
Honoring your
you know,
ancestors.
wall and
Well, and learning
you know,
too, like there's a whole element of never meet your heroes. Like
well, his
Miguel pretty much hero worshipped his grandfather, right?
well, who he thought was his grandfather.
Right. Who he thought was his grandfather,
Yeah.
and it ends up Hector's actually the one writing the music, and
Yeah.
and so as you do genealogy, as you do family research, you realize that a lot of the stories you heard growing up might be embellishments or not as true as you might thought, or might be completely wrong. That's one of the fun things about family history is it's kind of like layers of an onion. You just keep peeling away and finding new things. And
Well, and I love that he's the villain because he would rather have fame and fortune than family or his friendship with his friend. He poisoned his best friend for his music.
yeah, he's willing to throw family under the bus to
Yeah.
get ahead.
And truth comes out, even though it's decades after the fact.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, truth will
And
out.
so it was beautiful because
Thanks to
there was
Miguel's family.
right
They,
there's
they
this
tried
great
to show
closure.
evidence.
Yeah, this great
Yeah.
closure for this family and for the music and anyway.
Keep going. I left my phone over here. But overall, if there's any faults with a movie, I would just say there's some scenes that, you know, like little kids might get kind of bored with. You know, they're a little bit more adult, but
I didn't think the skeletons were scary though. You know,
yeah, some people
the
thought they were
skeletonized
scary. I didn't think they were
spirits.
scary.
Oh, not at
Sit up
all.
here. Overall, just one of Pixar's best. Would you say perfection?
I think it's perfect. I really do. I could watch it over and over and over again,
Yeah.
and I just love it.
I personally wouldn't watch it as much as Incredibles and Toy Story 3, but it's up there. And let's go with perfection.
Yeah.
Might as well, right? It is so good. Like
It
you
was
just
amazing.
the music, the
Walk
colors.
out of the theater with warm fuzzies and, like singing the songs.
You will feel
know?
better about life after watching Coco.
It's
And
very uplifting.
How much higher praise can you give to a movie? You
Yeah.
know. Okay, moving on to
Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2. This is
One of the-
Ian's favorite.
One
Yeah,
of the
Ian
two
loves
of my
this one.
favorite movies. It's besides Luca.
Why do you like this one so much?
I think it's fun.
There you go. It's fun.
And okay, what's cool about it though?
Let me.
Okay, you think about it. We're going to talk for a little bit.
Okay.
So, Incredibles 2, this is interesting because Brittany and I had a thing early on in our marriage during the recession where Brittany had to go to work and I had to stay home with Ian and help raise Ian. So we kind of did a swap of roles.
It wasn't in a really cool like 60s-ish pad with
Yeah, it
like
wasn't in a
pool
mid-century vibe,
in the
yeah.
living room though.
But we had to go through that. So I think we could relate to that story a little bit more where, is it Helen Parr and Bob Parr kind of switch roles a little bit. And again, I feel like they're doing the Pixar thing where they take kind of a side character and move them into the limelight, and then the main character, with the exception of Toy Stories, Bob Parr kind of takes a back seat, which I kind of felt was unfortunate because in the first movie we come to just really love Bob Parr and what everything he's about, and it wasn't necessarily bad. It was different.
I still think it was very enjoyable. It had a great
Mm-hmm.
villain. It talked more about Jack, which is hilarious.
The Jack scene is awesome with the raccoon.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like the villain was as strong, and I don't feel like the messaging was as strong. It dealt a little bit too. It got kind of on the nose with modern politics when it came to
I have to.
police
I
officers.
like Incredibles.
Okay, we'll get to that. With the body cam thing, they addressed the body cam thing like if no one can see it, did it happen? Like if a tree falls in a forest and no one's there, did it happen? And a lot of times police officers, I know there's bad cops out there, but a lot of them get bad raps because no one actually saw the footage. They only saw the cut that either
Hypnotized.
the people wanted you to see, like the media wanted you to see. And so they kind of took the stance that, like, look, you might be doing heroic things, but if no one sees it, then people might not believe you, and politics might push you out. As the sheepdogs, they might cast it to the side.
And I hope they do a third one, honestly. I loved seeing the new supers.
Yeah.
Like the portal one and the lava and just all the other cool powers that could be out there. It was felt like X-Men to me.
Well, along with that, it dealt with some very kind of adult subjects. Like, I mentioned the body cam thing with the whole police and stuff. Do you need supers versus do you need to be self-reliant? That was
technology,
the contention of
yeah.
the sister
Yep.
who was against supers because she's like, well, you need to be able to take care of yourself. And I'm a person who's like, yeah, it takes first responders generally
Crush.
at their best like 5 minutes to get to you, and by then the crime might already be committed. So it's an interesting way of relating to the villain. Like, yeah, she has a point, which is you can't just rely on everyone to help you at all times.
That said, you probably shouldn't take out like a senator and then mind control a bunch of supers.
Yeah,
and
she took it
crash
the
a
wrong way
plane
because
or boat
of
or
their
whatever.
parents' death. She took it
Yeah.
in a very bitter way, whereas the brother decided to bring
Hero
supers
worship.
back,
Yeah.
and he hero worshipped a bit.
He did.
Yeah, and if anything, I kind of wish they would have explored a bad super, because I think that would be interesting, where they kind of just the idea was all supers are good and they're just misunderstood. Whereas I kind
I
of
feel
wish
like
they
the
would have
kids are
introduced.
definitely naughty from time
Well,
to time.
sure. But I kind of wish like one of the supers actually did have ulterior motives and was bad. Syndrome in the first one wasn't a super. He was just a very smart guy who knew how to make things super with his gadgets and things like that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
So maybe Incredibles 3, if they make it, it might be interesting to see a bad super.
Maybe
That could
Jack
be-
Maybe
goes
the-
postal or something, and
Jack
we'll find
goes
out.
Hey, hello.
That'd be terrible.
Maybe
what?
the internet's wrong about Incredibles 3 in 2021 or 2024.
Yeah, there's some
Maybe
rumors circulating
The
that
internet's like an illusion to make you think you're
Ian's
right.
learning about fake videos online.
he's learning
and-
about fake rumors online.
Fake
and-
rumors.
'cause someone said that Incredibles 3 is coming out next month.
Electronic
not
people
happening
also
yet.
ask.
What would you guys put Incredibles 2 at?
Oh,
I think perfection.
Yeah,
you would say
Ian thinks
that.
it's perfection.
think
I wouldn't
it's
say that.
Exceptional.
I would say exceptional too.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's put it there. Exceptional.
Almost done. Hard to believe.
Okay, almost done, you guys.
Yeah.
We have 4 more. So Toy Story 4. This was, to me, it was a very great movie. I saw it kind of as an epilogue
Yes.
for Woody.
I feel like that was very much what it was. It was kind of a tie-in for Woody's character. Because
Yeah.
Buzz had, Jessie, and there were other stable relationships in that little playroom, but Woody, it feels like once he left Andy, that's really what he was holding on to.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Bo Peep comes back, and it was, in speaking about relationships, because of course the toys are, analogies for relationships in real life. Like, it was about...
There's a little bit about empty nesting too, right?
Empty nesting and rediscovering new love after old love goes away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it was a very good movie. I feel like it's the weakest, though, in the Toy Story lineup, especially because of what they did to Buzz. It almost feels like his...
Yeah, he really played a back burner role.
Yeah, they just didn't know what to do with him. The
inner voice.
Listen to your inner voice. Yeah, I mean,
It's
that's a
just
good
okay.
thing.
But Gabby
to
Gabby
do.
was so cool. I love they had an antique shop with an
Yeah,
antique
Gabby
doll.
was an interesting villain who ended
Yeah.
up being kind of a good character. Just misunderstood.
Yeah, she just...
Made some poor decisions, but figured things out.
But she had such a fixation on that one little girl being like, if only this little girl would play with me, my life
that's the
would be
ideal relationship.
perfect. Yeah, her life was passing her by because she was so focused on what she thought would be the ideal, and then she got thrown
Right.
away, and she was crushed.
Yeah, she had unhealthy expectations.
Yeah, like Woody and Andy, Woody never thought he would find more meaning beyond just being played with as a toy, and then Bo Peep
Right.
shows him there's more to the world than that. And I think it's very sweet from that sense. And then, of course, you had Key and Peele as stuffed animals, which was hilarious.
Key and Peele are hilarious
Yeah.
in their stuffed animal role, especially at the end.
Oh my gosh,
when
yeah.
they get huge and they shoot laser eyes and
Yeah.
go freaking postal on everybody.
It was fun. I really did like Toy Story 4, but it didn't feel like part of the trilogy. It did. And Sporky or Forky or whatever his name is.
Forky's a fun character, but
I don't
Jesus.
really... the whole trash... Oh, Ian loves the whole trash thing.
Yeah.
Trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
I mean, I get it. Like,
trash is so warm.
Yeah, don't throw your life away.
And
Was a good message. I thought it was a good message.
it was a good message.
Especially nowadays, there's a lot of people who just feel like they're garbage and they're just good for nothing, just need to be tossed out. And Woody, being ever loyal, tried to show, that, hey, even though you might have been made from trash or you think that you're, nothing more than pond scum, that there is value in you, there is worth in you. If someone loves you, then it's worth living,
Well, it also brings up, like, at what point does, like, a thing created from trash maintain sentience? Like, it gets kind of creepy.
Trash.
Okay,
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you could say it gets a little dark.
It's just
But it's good.
weird, but yeah, it's good.
Okay, Ian, have a seat. Help us rate this. Where would you put this, Ian? Toy Story 4, what would you say?
I would say exceptional or sublime or perfection.
Okay.
Okay, what would you say?
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
I
say worth it?
Well, it's definitely worth it. I don't think it was a train wreck a lot of people thought it was going to be. It's
No.
very well done.
Yeah, a lot of people were worried because it was like the fourth.
Yeah. I want to say we could settle on exceptional.
Sure.
It's an exceptional movie.
Yeah.
Definitely very good. You'll get a lot out of it, I think.
Yeah.
We watched it as a family in the theater when we were on vacation, and so it kind of holds a special place in our hearts. All right. Let's move on to what I feel is the deepest, the most adult of the Pixar films, which is Soul.
No, we missed one, honey.
Is it? Maybe that
Onward.
would be.
Oh my gosh.
You missed.
Let me go back. Let me go back. We got three
Obviously,
more. We're almost
you really
done.
liked it.
Okay, Onward we've seen a couple times.
Yep.
It's a fun, whimsical movie.
Magic.
A good kind of like hero's journey, brothers thing.
It tried to modernize the whole fantasy trope in a kind of Monsters University, world kind of way. And I thought it was fun, but it was just okay.
Yeah, and it kind of made the point too that when we get wrapped up in technology and the speed of technology, we forget the magic. What makes things really work, and how kind of like cars, how it's good to slow down sometimes and realize that the human connections, the way we go about life at a slower pace is sometimes, that's good enough. Why does everything have to be so fast and convenient?
And then nerdy brother Barley being totally righteous.
Yeah, Chris Pratt as Ian's brother, Barley.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like Onward. Oh, sorry.
It was really about their relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes you think it's about the dad with no upper body. Really, it's not. It's about Ian's relationship with Barley.
Yeah. And how don't overlook the people who are with you in your family because you think there's some ideal out there who would be better.
Yeah, this amorphous dad that he never really
he never knew.
So.
Because his dad died early.
Yeah,
like
so
all
Barley,
other Disney and Pixar films where they kill off the dad. Stop doing that!
It's cheaper.
I'm a dad. It's cheaper, but it's not cool.
It's cheaper for them to cut out a parent and just...
But again, they're animating things anyway. As someone who works a little bit in 3D animation, I can tell you, yes, it's more work, but so is the whole film, so are side characters. Stop taking out the parents, please.
They just do it so they can bring them back in some horrific backstory later.
There's some horrible story that starts out.
Yep.
Okay, so what would we put Onward at?
Oh, it's worth it. I don't know if it's amazing.
I'd say worth it, yeah.
Worth it.
Not a one-timer, worth it.
Pudding.
You want pudding?
Alistair wants pudding.
Alistair wants pudding.
Okay, so what do we got here? 2 more. Soul and Luca. So yeah, Soul is a very mature Pixar movie. I think probably the most mature one.
Well, yeah, and he dies and it goes to pre-life and afterlife and a lot of abstract concepts.
Here's the thing. And I don't want to wear a religion on our sleeve, but there's some things in this movie that very much go in line with what we believe as...
Well, a lot of people believe, I think.
Well,
yeah.
Well, yes and no. A lot of other Christian faiths don't believe in a pre-life. And we do. We're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So we believe that we lived as spirits before. One of the reasons we came to earth was to have a body and through that learn and grow, have struggles, pitfalls, successes.
And enjoy fun things like soda.
Yes, enjoy things like pizza. Just live life and
go to vacations.
I feel like it was about taking a chance and, being the best, all that you can be. Because, it talks about this, jazz pianist who, when he dies and goes back and kind of reflects upon his life, sees, I didn't get to do the things I really wanted to do.
Yeah, there was some Heaven Can Wait vibes, if you guys remember that movie. It's an older movie. But
yeah, and then he interacts with a spirit who hasn't been born yet, who's all like, Earth sucks, it doesn't look interesting, I don't want to take the chance, right?
Yeah, it doesn't want to risk.
And it also talks about the difference between having like a spark or a purpose. Like, do you have to have one? Does everyone have to have like an overriding...
Yeah, do you have to be a prodigy at any given field? Is that the purpose of life?
Prodigy. Not everyone's going to be like the president or invent some new drug or something. Sometimes just living is a joy, and it makes that point, which I think is great. Sometimes just living life is your purpose, enjoying life.
Yeah.
And I thought that for me was the best take home ever. Like, it wasn't that his purpose was to be a great jazz pianist.
Well, I love that part too, where Joe he plays. He finally gets his dream, and he gets to play with fellow musicians that he's revered his whole life. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of walks out of the club and is like, "Now what? Like, is that it? Like, it was great, but is that it?" And he's missing the whole point, which is life is way more than just landing your dream job. That there's so much more to life than that. Enjoying, the maple leaf seed that's spinning, the taste of pizza, the warm sunlight on your back. Life is worth living for just life.
Chocolate.
So,
pudding.
A very powerful movie, very good. I would say that its main fault is it's not super kid friendly. There's some funny scenes, like when the spirits try to eat pizza and they poop it out immediately.
Oh gosh, yep.
Not in a graphic way, but in a hilarious way.
The bean counter spirit that has to, because there's a missing soul, in the tally.
Yeah, the fastidious bean counter spirit.
And he becomes like a little detective, and it's cute.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the most disgusting vlog we've ever done.
Come on, this movie will fly over so many little kids' heads, though.
Yeah, I think they'll appreciate 22 and some of the jokes and the antics that happen there, but it is a very mature film.
Well, we saw some toys, for instance, at the store, and one of them was Joe, the pianist, and we're like, what kid wants to play with Joe and his little spirit body and everything? Like, he's not like
It's hard to market to kids, is what she's saying.
It's not like Woody and Buzz. I mean,
it's not like Woody, but it's not like Lightning McQueen, which is eminently marketable. I mean, come on, little car toys.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to pick up a pot-bellied jazz pianist and play with him as much as
we were at Shields and we saw all of these Joe and 22 characters,
Sorry.
action figures.
Yeah.
No one was picking them up
No.
because it's very hard for kids to relate to that.
Whereas with like Joy and like Inside Out, like they had little plushies of joy and sadness and disgust and fear
Yeah.
or whatever, and everyone was buying those. Like I saw people dress up as those emotions for Halloween.
Yeah.
That was way more relatable.
So point being, Joe is a great character, very relatable, especially for someone like me, you know, who's kind of going through a midlife thing. Like,
It was a movie made for midlife crises.
yeah, am I everything that I wanted to be? You know,
Yeah.
growing up, you have dreams, and you're like, is this the purpose of life? Is this what I want out of life?
Yeah. Can I have a do-over?
Yeah.
Right? That's what Joe wants. He wants a do-over.
Yep. And then
Basically.
ultimately realizing life is worth living because life is a beautiful thing,
Yeah,
and
take advantage of every moment.
enjoy
and,
the little things.
Yep.
Yeah, so a very mature, not like graphic, but very mature in theming, and ultimately hard for little kids to watch. I mean, little kids. Some kids will appreciate
It
it.
might be one of those that you rewatch as you get older and find that you learn more
Yeah.
than you did.
So let's go ahead and rate this.
Yeah, I'd say very good.
Yeah, I would say exceptional. I don't know if it's... to me, it kind of borders on sublime because it has some very good meanings, some very good messages
And
in
that's
there.
some funny stuff. Like one time when Joe goes back to Earth, he ends up in the body of a cat. And
Yeah.
the Spirit 22 ends up in his body.
Yeah, there's
And
some
that's
funny,
funny.
animation antics that ensue from that.
He acts like a crazy person. He's all walking around in like a hospital gown and
Yeah.
just doing nutty things, right? That was funny.
Yeah, and Twinch was like,
Yeah, 22 had a hard time. And
Yeah.
that was amusing, and kids
she
would
wasn't
think
used.
that's funny.
She wasn't used to having a body the first time.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
the hippies
She had to get used to having a body.
go in their zone. That
Would
was
you-
hilarious.
Can we put it at exceptional? Would you go that far?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Sure.
All right.
We have Alistair signing up
Bless you.
right now. Hey, can you turn it down?
Alistair's watching the TV behind us.
Okay, no, turn it off for just a few more
We're
minutes.
almost done.
Almost done.
And thank you so much if you're still with us. So this last one, this is the most recent one, Luca. Mixed feelings about this. Okay, so I'm a little bit of a fanboy when it comes to Italy. I have not been yet. I want to go, but you know.
I want to go
money.
to the Lamborghini.
He likes the things that come out of Italy.
Yeah,
I love Lamborghinis
so
and Ferraris.
Italy has brought us Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Berettas,
Food.
Alfa Romeo
Manicotti.
and Maseratis.
Monica Bellucci.
And even
Rolling her
Alfredo.
eyes. Anyway, Italy has a lot going on for it.
Art.
Art, yeah, the Renaissance. You know, Leonardo, Michelangelo. You know, the Ninja Turtles.
Music. Culture.
Culture. Italy's got a lot going on. So I've always wanted to go to the Amalfi Coast, especially Positano and places like that, where they have these beautiful just shoreline homes that are very old and just beautiful, you know?
Yeah, your coworker went there and she said it was like Disneyland for adults, right?
Yeah, she went to Venice.
Anyway, so yeah, I feel like the setting really makes Luca more interesting
Yeah.
than it really is.
I was super excited. So the director of this film also directed one of my favorite Pixar shorts, which is La Luna, which it's great. It's just, I love that one. So I was excited about this one. I thought it would be really good, you know, great setting. A lot of people thought it had Little Mermaid vibes where, you know, come to land, want to stay on land. And yeah, in that sense, it's a little bit like Little Mermaid. But
Only in the sense that they're from underwater.
I would say this movie reminds me more of movies like Stand By Me, if you saw that in the 80s. Kind of coming of age stories.
I would say it's more coming of age and friendship and
Yep.
deciding as you grow older what you want to be, you know.
Right.
And trying new things that are out of the ordinary. Like, I guess it's Little Mermaid-esque in the sense that his parents are not very enthusiastic about him going on land.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about him not being protected and being shunned.
Yeah, there's a whole fitting into, like,
They
you
have a
know...
bully and, yeah.
Yeah, kind of the lepers of society. Like,
Yep.
some people might not understand you,
Sea
or...
monsters of the area. Or
Yeah.
have drowned people or whatever.
Yeah, and you can interpret that in a lot of different ways. Obviously, when it comes to autism, you could be like, well, a lot of people misunderstand autism or think they're weird.
But I feel like it almost felt like a Hayao Miyazaki movie to me in the sense that conflict was more about
Yes.
like friendship and a race and misunderstandings and
Definitely
you know,
Miyazaki vibes.
yeah, it wasn't as much.
In fact, the town was named after one of his films, kind of. Okay, sorry about that. Our memory card ran out,
and then he unplugged the microphone.
and then I unplugged the mic. It was a mess. Anyway, that's pretty much a sign that we need to wrap up this video. We
Yeah.
ended on Luca. Worth a watch.
Yes.
So it was worthwhile. I wouldn't say it's exceptional. Ian loves it though. And our favorites, definitely Incredibles, Toy Story 3, Coco. This video's getting a lot longer than we anticipated, but there's a lot of movies here.
But we did start chronologically from the very first Pixar movie to the last. So.
Yeah, so definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
We know this is a departure from the videos we normally do, but hopefully you got to know a little bit more about us and our likes and dislikes. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.
Yep.